tracking two big stories today at noon. The jury has reached its verdict in the manslaughter trial of Dixie Villa, a former babysitter accused in the death of 7-month-old Abigail Lobish back in 2019. But first, it's a first alert weather day in Hawaii as our team tracks strong winds and elevated fire danger. The National Weather Service has issued a red flag warning for the leeward areas of all islands until 6 tonight, which means there is the threat of critical fire weather conditions. Guy Hagi has more in your first alert forecast.
How's it on this Aloha Friday? It is a first alert weather day because of this red flag fire warning. It's on because there's drought conditions, there's very strong winds and low humidity levels through the day, so the brush fire threat is elevated. There's also a wind advisory for the east end of the state. Parts of Maui County and Hawaii Island could get gusts upwards of 50 miles an hour today. Now, there's not much rain today. More rain due tomorrow, and that's when that red flag warning will likely be lifted for those added showers.
Thank you, Guy. And in response to that red flag warning, Acting Governor Sylvia Luke has signed an emergency proclamation. Now, this enables the state to rapidly deploy resources to prevent wildfires. Now, in the meantime, you are urged to avoid any actions that could create unnecessary risk, such as campfires, outdoor grilling, or using power tools that create sparks. And please avoid parking vehicles on dry grass. Meanwhile, Hawaiian Electric says it could possibly shut off power in some places to reduce the risk. You are urged to prepare for possible power outages and call 911 if you see anything suspicious. And stay with Hawaii News Now for the latest forecast. You can scan the QR code on your screen to download our weather app. You can find the latest weather alerts and 7-day forecasts brought to you by our First Alert team every day. New at noon, we now have a verdict in the trial of Dixie Villa, the former babysitter who was accused of manslaughter for the death of an infant. Dylan Acheta joins us now with the decision. Dylan.
Thank you so much, Ashley. Guilty. That is the unanimous verdict delivered this morning as jurors found Dixie Villa responsible for the overdose death of 7-month-old baby Abigail Lobish in 2019. However, we've also learned the defense will be seeking a mistrial. It was revealed in court that new information was sent to the prosecution during deliberations that the defense claims shows the baby's mother, Anna Lobish, lied on the stand. Jurors began deliberating Wednesday afternoon following closing arguments. It took them all day Thursday to reach this decision. Now, Villa showed no emotion when the verdict was read in court.
As to the charge of manslaughter, we, the jury, in this case, find the defendant, Dixie Denise Villa, guilty as charged of the offense of manslaughter.
We are moving for mistrial and asking for a new trial. Yesterday, the government gave us evidence that Anna Lobish lied on the stand regarding co-sleeping with her child. And we believe that this greatly affects the trial.
In addition to that, defense attorney Megan Kao also said that she received new evidence from a potential witness that said Anna needed to see a doctor for mental health reasons, which the defense was unaware of. Villa was accused of giving the child a failed dose of Benadryl at Aliomanu Military Reservation in 2019. The defense argued on the grounds that there was not enough evidence to clearly prove Villa was responsible, and it's unclear who else had access to the child because there were teenagers present in Villa's house. But prosecutors said that testimony from witnesses and medical experts left no doubt that Villa was responsible. Now, sentencing is scheduled for February 26th. As for the motion for a mistrial, the defense has 10 days to file that. Dylan Ancheta, Hawaii News Now.
Thank you, Dylan. We're learning more about an American Airlines flight that apparently came dangerously close to the Ko'olau mountain range. Aircraft tracker FlightAware shows Flight 298 departed from Honolulu to Los Angeles Wednesday just after 12:30 a.m. The flight path is straight, but aviation experts say the route should take a hard right turn after takeoff. Here's the audio of an air traffic controller instructing the pilot to avoid the mountains.
American 298, turn right and expedite your climb through terrain and then turn right heading 120.
Now, expedite your climb is a technical way of saying hurry up and gain altitude. Ultimately, the flight arrived in LA 7 hours later without incident. 3 people were rushed to the hospital this morning following a major crash in Nanakuli involving multiple vehicles. Honolulu EMS said 3 men in their 30s were injured, including 1 listed in critical condition. Now, police said one of the vehicles overturned and HFD helped extricate a person who was trapped. It all happened at around 5:20 a.m. near the intersection of Farrington Highway and Aoyang Homestead Road. It led to a traffic mess, which disrupted commutes for several hundred people. To national news, Republicans, who will soon be in control of both the House and Senate, are at odds over whether to push forward with confirmation for some of President-elect Trump's choices to join his administration. Nicole Skanga has more details from Capitol Hill.
The debate over Senate confirmation for some of President-elect Donald Trump's more controversial cabinet picks is already underway on Capitol Hill.
I think the Senate should do everything they possibly can to approve those and to nominate them and get them through the confirmation process.
There are, I think, a number of nominees that have got a lot of tough questions to answer.
House members left for the weekend without an ethics committee vote on whether to release a report looking into allegations of sexual misconduct by former Congressman Matt Gaetz, Trump's choice for Attorney General.
I do not believe that that is an appropriate thing. It doesn't follow our rules and traditions, and there is a reason for that. It would open a Pandora's box.
But some lawmakers on both sides of the aisle say the report should be made public.
I think it's important for them to have all critical information that they need to make an intelligent decision.
When you have these sort of complaints and investigations, it's always better to find out before than after.
Another cabinet pick that could face a confirmation battle here on Capitol Hill, Trump's choice to lead the Department of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
I just looked at the news reports. People like you, Bobby. Don't get too popular, Bobby.
Kennedy's anti-vaccine activism has several lawmakers questioning whether he should oversee the nation's public health agenda.
All my kids are vaccinated, and I hope he's not going to move against one of the most life-saving technologies in the history of the world.
Kennedy is also facing another challenge from some conservatives. Former Vice President Mike Pence called on Republicans to block Kennedy's nomination because of his record supporting abortion rights. Nicole Skanga, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Meanwhile, Hawaii Governor Josh Green pulled no punches when asked about RFK Jr.'s nomination. Listen to what he said during an interview with CNN.
We had a terrible experience in Samoa. RFK went and rallied that country against vaccinations when there was a measles outbreak. It resulted in the deaths of 83 innocent children. And if he is confirmed as HHS secretary, what he will do is he will cast doubt on vaccination programs across America. That will mean thousands and then millions of people will consider not getting vaccinated. We will not have herd immunity. And physicians like myself and pediatricians and all sorts of other healthcare providers will see cataclysmic spread of disease. But this is a gentleman who has absolutely no training in public health, no experience in public health, nor does he have any experience in biopharmacologic processes either. He is a quack scientist.
RFK Jr.'s nomination is pending Senate approval. A Maui woman is missing on the mainland, and her loved ones are asking for the public's help in finding her. 30-year-old Hannah Kobayashi was heading to New York City to visit family on Friday, but missed her connecting flight out of Los Angeles, then disappeared. A friend received strange text messages from Hannah's phone on Monday, saying she was tricked into giving away all of her money.
We just wanted to get the word out as soon as possible, because the more time that passes, the less we know of what happened. You know what I mean? It's like, and anything could happen. Yeah, I mean, you hear about like trafficking and strange things.
The family has filed a missing persons report with the Los Angeles Police Department. If you have any information, call the number on your screen. Coming up on This Is Now, a blessing for the grand opening of a new affordable rental project in Chinatown. Plus this.
The fight over Infowars. I'm Jared Hill with the legal questions coming up after satire publication The Onion bought Alex Jones' media empire in an auction linked to his claims the Sandy Hook massacre was a hoax.
held a blessing this morning for a new affordable housing project in Chinatown. 40 newly renovated studios, 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom rental apartments are now open at the Hawking Building at the corner of North King Street and Nu'uanu Avenue. The rentals are for families that make 30 to 50% of the area median income. Those involved in the project say it's a historic building that will bring critically needed rentals to Honolulu's urban core.
Throughout its century-long history, the Hawking Building has served various purposes. It was a hotel, most recently a bank, but it was also a boarding house at one point. These 50 units here will help fill a much-needed space in Honolulu's affordable housing landscape.
We acquired this building from the descendants of Alfred Hawking. This is the first time this building has changed hands in over 100 years.
The state says the project has committed to an affordability period of 61 years. An interesting twist in the ongoing legal battle between the families of the victims of the Sandy Hook massacre and Alex Jones, the radio show host who claimed the deadly day was a hoax. Jared Hill has the latest.
In what started as a joke turned a chance for healing, Thursday, satirical publication The Onion won a bid for controversial public figure Alex Jones's Infowars platform.
We're going to make it into a bigger and better thing. We want in a couple of years for people to be like, oh, Infowars, that funny website, instead of like that horrible place of, Funhouse Mirror horrors.
Ben Collins is CEO of The Onion, which has spoofed Jones and his conspiracy theories for years. But one of Jones' most notorious spins landed the tycoon in legal trouble. In 2022, the families of the Sandy Hook massacre won more than $1.4 billion in a defamation judgment against Jones. And this summer, a court ruled his assets, including the media company, had to be sold to compensate those families.
His horrific messaging and attacks and stuff started immediately after the shooting.
Robbie Parker's 6-year-old daughter, Emily, was among the 26 victims killed by the gunman at her Connecticut elementary school in 2012. Jones used a moment of him speaking to the media the day after the shooting to label him a crisis actor and the shooting fake. The new website is expected to work with gun violence prevention group Everytown for Gun Safety.
Humor is one of the most effective ways to reach people and to actually combat misinformation. And so that's why we're all in.
But last night, Alex Jones argued the sale hadn't actually gone through.
The Onion's everywhere announcing they bought it.
The judge in Jones' bankruptcy case ordered a hearing for next week on how the auction was conducted. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Mike Tyson gets ready to return to the ring to face off against a much younger Jake Paul in a highly anticipated fight on Netflix. Why the showdown is now personal, just ahead.
How's it on this Aloha Friday? It is a first alert weather day because of this red flag warning, which is on starting at 10 a.m. this morning to 6 p.m. today for all leeward areas. That's where the brush fire threat is elevated because of those strong and gusty winds today, which bring low humidity levels. So if a brush fire were to break out, it would spread very quickly. So plan accordingly. Take some precautions today. It's also very windy for the east end of the state. There is a wind advisory for parts of Maui County, parts of Hawaii Island. These areas could get gusts upwards of 50 miles an hour. So that could lead to spotty power outages, and we'll get some windy conditions through the weekend. We won't get a lot of rain today. That's why we have that red flag warning, right? We do have some showers this morning, mainly for Windward and Malka. Much less rain out there than what we had yesterday. Although by tomorrow, we'll see a cold front drop in, and that cold front likely to bring in more widely scattered showers. So tomorrow, because of those incoming showers, likely that red flag warning will be canceled, right? Now, those winds already picking up, and it's still early, but as the day progresses through tonight, those winds will be picking up speed. Tonight is when we expect the strongest winds. So this is what we're looking at for today. A few morning showers for a handful of windward spots. Not a lot of rain today, much less than what we had yesterday and the day before. Drier by lunchtime, and then in the afternoon, the winds will begin picking up speed. It's going to be very windy tonight. Winds blowing 20 to 30 with some stronger gusts. So there is a possibility for some spotty power outages tonight and tomorrow. So take precautions for that possibility. Now, the big swell that hit the north and west shores on the way down. Still got some sizable waves today. Keep in mind, it's going to be choppier today than it was yesterday. Still, though, decent conditions for north and west shores. It's going to be bigger. It's going to be more dangerous on the east side. That's where a high surf advisory has now been posted. And that'll likely go on through the weekend. 8 to 12 today, that'll likely be the peak. But that's big, dangerous, and messy. So again, it's a first alert weather day today because of the red flag warning and those leeward sides and the chance for brush fires grows higher. Now tomorrow, because of the cold front that's dropping in, we'll also see more showers out there. And then the rain eases up on Sunday and the wind doesn't ease up until Wednesday.
Hey, happy Aloha Friday, everyone. Davis Kyle, Digital Center. It is time for your weekly sports update. Now, we got to talk about briefly UH. Tough loss against UNLV last weekend. They play Utah State on the road again tomorrow, though. So make sure to stay tuned in for that. But we want to get into the real stuff. My favorite topic, high school football.
Absolutely.
Kyle, state championships are here this weekend. What do we got going on?
Yeah, a lot going on. I do want to mention briefly for UH, that kickoff is 10 a.m. Hawaii time, Spectrum pay-per-view, if you want to catch that game. But we'll have all the highlights on HNN on Saturday. But this weekend, the opening rounds of the HHSAA State Football Championships are here, and honestly, it's my like you said, it's my favorite time of the year too, Davis. We have a lot of matchups Friday and Saturday. Starting on Friday in the Open Division, we have the semifinals, and it's a couple of teams that should be pretty familiar to Hawaii high school football fans here in the state. The first semifinal match between Kahuku and Mililani. This is the third time these two teams have met this season alone. It's going to be exciting. Kahuku, had a very interesting up and down path in the regular season, but now they look like the same old Kahuku, and they're going for that fourth straight state championship. So that would be a crazy feat. And then on the other side of the bracket, they have St. Louis taking on Campbell. Now, these are two teams that are big names here in Hawaii, but they haven't played each other for a couple years now. And, very different looking teams historically. Obviously with Campbell, they were the team to beat this year. They were the unanimous #1 team in the state all regular season. They suffered their first loss last weekend in the OIA championship to Kahuku. Now they're coming back with a vengeance.
Well, I am super excited. High school football, favorite time of the year, especially with Millville's finest sitting right next to me. And scan the QR code on your screen to watch the latest episodes of HNN Overtime, Hawaii News Now Sports Podcast, hosted by Kyle Sienna and I. Stay tuned for our episodes every single week, and make sure to stay tuned for Kyle and Sienna's reports every single day. So for that, for Kyle and I, happy Aloha Friday, everyone.
Thank you, fellas. Former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson returns to the boxing ring tonight. The 58-year-old will be facing off against 27-year-old YouTuber turned professional boxer Jake Paul, who only has a handful of professional fights to his name. Now, Tyson started the bout early, slapping Paul during the traditional stare down at last night's weigh-in. Tyson told the New York Post that Paul stepped on his toe.
It's personal now! It's personal now! He must die!
Major event, and it's being held in Texas because of the state's willingness to allow older fighters to compete, but the boxers must wear heavier than standard gloves and fight no more than 8 two-minute rounds. Tyson, who retired back in 2005, last fought in an exhibition match back in 2020. Well, coming up, a neighborhood near Pearl Harbor gets a $29 million makeover. Casey Lund shows us the renovations as the first family gets ready to move in. Time for some good news. A military family will be the first to move into a neighborhood of newly renovated homes near Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam. Casey Lund shows us the upgrades and tells us why this is so important.
Aloha, grateful to show you around this recently renovated duplex apartment here. Beautifully updated, new appliances, and this is in the Hokulani neighborhood, just adjacent to Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam, part of the Ohana military communities. And this is just the beginning of a really large project. And we want to introduce some special people. We've got Jeff Choi. He's Vice President of Ohana Military Communities. Going to talk with Jeff in just a minute about the scope of this project. But this first unit that's been remodeled or renovated is going to Yvonne and Carolina, their Army family that are with us this morning, or today I should say, moving into this home. And you guys just got to check it out for the first time today. What did you think?
We think it's amazing. It's like very fully renovated. It's a home. It looks like a home.
And you folks are expecting, congratulations. This is going to be a nice place to move into, right?
It sure is.
And I want to ask you too, Yvonne, how you came to Hawaii, how you came to us, and tell me a little bit about your career as we're celebrating Veterans Day this week.
I joined in January 2012, and I've been all over the world for BRAG, Germany. I just got here back in 2021 from New York City. I was a recruiter down there in Manhattan. from 2018 to 2021.
Yeah, and I heard that you folks kind of wanted to move to Hawaii.
Yes, we did. I spoke to my wife about it, and I said, we have an option. They gave me Hawaii, and she said yes. She said, let's go.
Yeah, not a bad place to end up. Well, I want to thank you guys for talking with us and sharing a little bit about your life, your service, and the excitement of moving in here. So we appreciate that. And again, I want to thank you for being with us today. We also want to talk with Jeff Choi, Vice President again of Ohana Military Communities. This is awesome. It's, like you said earlier today, this is what we do it for, right?
Yeah, and this is exciting that you get to join us to move the first family into this neighborhood. You know, the renovation's great, but you know, this is what we do it for, to introduce them to the new house.
And as I said earlier, this is just the beginning. Talk to us about the scope of this $29 million investment you folks are making in our servicemen and women.
Yeah, and even as of today, $29 million is part of $73 million in total that we're doing, you know, across the entire portfolio. But this project would be the first of hopefully many that we're going to get to do this renovation at the next neighborhood and the neighborhood after that. So hopefully you can join us, you know, the next time we're doing that.
And I want to also just talk about the byproduct of this is benefiting our local economy as well.
Very much so. So this project alone uses 7 or 8 local vendors. So we've got local contractors that are helping us with the flooring and the appliances and the paint and the re-roofing and all the infrastructure things. So, you know, we're excited to be able to use local vendors for these things.
Thanks for watching. This is now more news first at 4.